Calvary family. It has been a long time since we have come together. I miss you very much when I look back and see that it's been now 9 months since we have assembled together. Wow, it's hard to believe. But we have come now to the close of another year. In 2019, many of us made resolutions and was entering 2020 with great expectation, only to find out and to discover that within a few weeks after entering into the new year, we would have unleashed upon us the most devastating pandemic the world has ever known. The pandemic has caused disaster. 2020 has been a year of loss of health, loss of life, dividing of family, loss of job, loss of freedoms, loss of rights, just loss after loss. But I've come to tell you tonight that despite what we've lost, we're still here. We're still standing. And there's a word tonight in Mark's Gospel, chapter 9 and verse 23. Jesus says to the man, "If thou only believe that all things are possible." I want to extract from that passage. Contextually, I don't want to develop the text, but I want to use the words. If thou wouldst believe that all things are possible. This was a father who was devastated over his son's condition. His son was demon possessed. His son was in a bad state, and the father was worried about his son. He wanted his son to be healed. He wanted his son to be delivered. He brought him to the gathering to have the disciples do something, only to discover they could do nothing. Because we know that only some things we can do, but all things can be done through Christ. He found out that his son nothing could be done for his son by the disciples. And there was only one person that could help his son. And Jesus approached him and said, "If thou would only believe that all things are possible." As devastated as this father was, he said, "I believe. I believe. Help my unbelief." And I extract those words with our situation with 2020. Many of us have been and are devastated by the conditions for which we are now in and have been in for some 9 months. But I'm here to tell you tonight that if we would quote those words and we would declare them and proclaim them, that I believe, it would trigger God into a course of action. I believe that in 2020, healing will come. I believe that in 2020, restoration will come. I believe that we will not only be healed, we will not only be restored, but we will be elevated. We will be changed if we would believe. And I suggest to you tonight that if you want action, we've got to take a stand. This year, as we close out 2020 and begin 2021, we want to stand on the promise of God. Listen, it was those words that I believe that triggered the Lord into action. And as we enter 2021 and we say and proclaim that I believe, something great is going to happen. I use the words of Marvin Sapp, that if we convincingly would believe God, we'll be able to say the words that Marvin Sapp said in one of his greatest hits. I never would have made it without you. I never could have made it without you. Now that I know that you were always there for me. I never would have made it without you. I'm convinced tonight that only God can fix what is now broken. We will have a better year in 2021. I prophesy it. I declare it. I proclaim it in the name of Jesus that this will come to an end. We will make it. We just got to believe. Will you proclaim that this year? As we end 2020 into the books of history and enter into 2021, believing that a change is going to come. On behalf of my wife, Pastor Audrey, and our family, we wish for you a happy, a safe, a healthy, and a prosperous new year. God bless you.